part 2 of the Bloom Room, Relationship Edition.
Welcome to the Bloom Room.
Was there a season where you felt misunderstood by each other, and what helped shift that dynamic, if anything did?
Yeah, so I'll answer that. I think from early, I would say late adulthood. I remember I was going through a lot of transition in a Ph.D. program, and my mom, having just finished a Ph.D. program, just couldn't understand. So I was stressed. And I vividly remember just she was so discouraging, just like, oh, is this really what you want to do? Like, and it was hard for me at the time. And I think, I don't think we ever talked about it, to be honest. I think after, so I then transitioned, I relocated, got married. And that was a big, hard stop for my mom. So I had a, how do I call it?
Elopement? She ran off, y'all.
Went to a different country. So I did. Me and my husband eloped.
And y'all done heard how we feel about family.
Yeah, so we did our wedding the way that we wanted to, and that was like a stop point for my mom. To the point, yeah, I mean, we're still hearing about it today, right?
Almost chose violence.
So it was to the point that I think things became very difficult, like just being able to set the boundary of mom, like, this is what we wanted, we planned this is our goal, this is what we're going to do in the future. And she just could not understand that, because at the end of the day, I robbed her of some experience, whatever that was. And I think that was very difficult. But I think if I'm being honest, the overarching thing of all of it is boundaries. My mom has a very hard time. I think earlier she shared I'm very private, which I am. I choose to disclose what parts of my life I want to share. And I think my mom really struggles with that, because she lives her life out loud. And that's okay, right? That's just not all of our comforts. And honestly, a lot of it has just been conversation, but also for me, like, consistency. So I'm very clear on my boundary. I will reinstate it. I will keep telling you. And I think my mom sometimes just tests the limits sometimes with me. And I honestly think a lot of that too, to be honest, she's getting better, but we're still having slip ups. So my mom likes to just pop up and show up, and I'm like, this is planned, like, why are you here, type of deal. Not as mama bear and warm, right, as Ashlie, but I think just having that conversation of like, this is my boundary, this is my goal. But I think in that, for myself, I'll be honest, like taking a step back, because I think my exterior is not sometimes what I intend, but we're not judged, I think, on our intentions. We're judged on the action and what the outcome was, and I do struggle with that and understanding the impact exactly. And I think that just conversations and consistency on my part, but also giving the grace, like, all right, I don't gotta be so stringent. I just recently was informed that I run things like a business, right?
You got a strict program over there.
The program is beyond strict.
It is very strict.
A business trend, and I think that goes back to our honesty with one another. I was very transparent with my sister about feeling like I'm in a business transaction with her. If it's not about business, we don't even got to talk about it. And it changed her perspective too, because she was like, well, we're best friends. We're close. And it's like, we are? Like, but because business transaction, Brianna, keeps us, at a distance, in her own not wanting to be hurt or feeling like, we have violated her, because the three of us are close. Like, the three of us do have a different dynamic than I think any other relationship. But being able to be vulnerable with her and say, Brianna, I don't want to be in a business transaction. I want my sister.
And I don't care if the housekeeper hasn't come yet. I come to your house if the housekeeper hasn't come yet.
Boundary. Like, I like for my space to
we
always
can't come
be
if the housekeeper hasn't come.
Magazine ready. And I invite people over when it is. So I think just respecting that boundary. Yeah, see, that's a boundary. So yeah.
So you felt misunderstood by her?
I did, yeah, oftentimes. Just, I think the highlights of my life, just being misunderstood in terms of like how I lived that out versus how she perceived that I would live that out. I think that was two different things.
I do have a question for you. So like, I I hear you saying things like, strong boundaries, you only want people to come over when it's magazine ready. Are you scared of being seen or perceived?
I don't think so. I feel like that's my comfort. Like how I welcome you, I think is a bigger picture of, like, for me, my house is my thought space, to be honest. So I work from home. When my house is cluttered, my thought space is cluttered. So I feel like my house is a representation sometimes of where I am at that time. And I'm very sacred about that. Like, even they'll tell you, I don't like my house photographed, or like, don't put my baby on. Like, certain things I'm just very protective of, because I feel like those are the pieces of my life that I get to control and manage.
So you kind of only want people to see you when you feel like you are.
Absolutely, very much so.
And see, for me, I feel misunderstood with that very element, because we are very messy, right? Meaning in every way. Like
I'm not messy, girl.
We are hot.
Oh my God.
We are hot.
I couldn't even get it out without laughing.
But I say that honestly, right? Because I think one of the key signature stones of my family is that I'm okay with you knowing our business, right? I have never polished my family as perfect.
But I think that's where the disconnect is.
Right.
You're saying you're trying to be not perfect, and that's not what I don't think that's what
she wants to exude perfection. Perfection.
Right? But for me, I'm okay if it's not okay. Right? I'm gonna walk in your house and I'm not gonna be like, oh, why is the baby's blanket on this table? No, I'm just gonna pick it up and fold it up and put it up.
But what I'm hearing, that it's really not about you; it's about her and how that makes her feel.
Right.
Yeah. But in trying to honor that, I question, like, why doesn't she know that she's so important to me that I don't care about any of that? I just want her. Right? I just want to be with her. I want to be with the baby. I want to crawl on the floor. Like, why? And so when we talk about feeling misunderstood, I love my son-in-laws. Like just family, period. I love my family. So when they went off and got married and my husband and I wasn't there, it was like somebody had let the wind out of us. This is our baby girl. Right? My husband still cried. When he walked Ashlie down the aisle, he was crying.
They went through it.
Right? So we went through it. We went through it. It was almost like a culture shock to our family.
Because it wasn't your choice.
It wasn't my choice. And it did not align with what I said. Right? So when I talk about that being strong and vulnerable, right? Again, do I want to be right? You didn't obey the rules of the land, or do I want relationship? I love my son-in-law.
No, I see you because I resonate with you. So I got married when I was 20. Yeah. I got married at 20. Same thing. I kind of did it on the low. Didn't even tell her like that it was actually that we were married. There was a lot of shame there, but I think I used the word boundaries as a way to not call a spade, which was, it was just a wall. And
why did you feel shame though?
Because I think that inside me, like from a gut place, knew that I wasn't, and this is not to speak on, this is not, no shade at all. This is just my personal experience. I knew that I wasn't making the decision from a right place.
Okay.
I knew that I wasn't making it from a right place. I knew that what I actually wanted was that fairy tale wedding, and I wanted the proposal, and I wanted my mom to be there. I wanted all those things. But at that version of myself, I was so broken. You could have smiled at me longer than 20 seconds, and I think I would have been like, oh, you want to get married? I was so desperate.
Yeah.
I was so
about yourself.
But I was so desperate for individualism. I was so, and I guess this will go into I don't want to hijack. So am I hijacking?
No, they good.
We're done.
Okay. I still struggle with this. My individualism. I really want to be me. And I think it's a little reverse for my mom and I, and just correct me if I'm wrong, and I would love to just kind of talk about this here. A lot of times, as the daughters, our individualism is tied to our parents.
Yes.
I feel like my mom unfortunately did not get a chance to truly get to know herself. She went from adolescence to motherhood, a lot of abusive relationships, a lot of survival. And so now that I am an adult and she is seeing me actively be that freedom and learn myself and be that and all the things, she's more inspired by that than I am, vice versa. Does that make sense?
I can relate to that.
Yeah, I think that when I look, there are certain things that I look at how free you are, and I think that is, inspiring, and it allows me to say, you know what, it's just like an example, you can do that too. Give yourself permission to be free, to color your hair purple if you want it purple. I know you have. But not live in the confines of old beliefs and what I should and shouldn't be doing.
Tied full circle, I was really yearning to just be my own self, not connected or tied to, or to feel like I'm just an extension of somebody.
Did you feel like she didn't understand that about you?
Yes.
Okay.
I feel like she didn't understand the gravity of how much I just felt like I was your extension. Yeah. That it wasn't, you took pride in me being your mini-me. I didn't want to be your mini-me. I want to be Shanae.
Yeah.
And so I made things, and I said it, I spoke on the word boundaries. I would say, well, I'm doing this and there's a boundary. We're not going to talk about it. You're going to respect my choices, She couldn't mother me through it because it wasn't really a boundary. It was a strong wall.
Yeah.
And it was rebellion in a sense. I'm going to do this, and I know you don't like it. I know you don't understand it, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I look back, that's what I was fighting for. I was hurt. I was wounded. I was very broken. And doing the work now, I still feel like I do struggle with, not wanting to feel like I'm just the extended version of you. I do want to just be me. And I'm very adamant about let me be me and you be you. I'm really adamant about that. But in my adolescent years and all the rebellion that came with that, good Lord. What helped shift was me understanding why I did the things that I do and to do it in a more healthy way and not have to be like so
fighting for it.
Yeah, and just doing things that are so now that I have a more understanding of character that was so out of character for me. The shift came with me. The shift came with deeper understanding within me, better understanding of what I like, what I don't like, what I accept, what I don't accept, and understanding who I am as a woman. What do you wish more mothers and daughters talked about openly but often avoid?
Sex.
She ain't giving no thoughts.
Right. No, that's a fact.
Growing up, we were raised under a religion that shamed you knowing about your body, you knowing about life experiences. And I think that cultivated a space of shame, guilt around sexual experiences. And a lot of times, women are shamed for exploring sexual decisions. And I think being able to have these open conversations with your mothers or your mother figures about sex, about your body, about changes that you experience is important, because when my mother was still working on herself, I was afraid to tell her I got my period because I thought I had done something wrong. We weren't educated. And then when I told her, she was like, girl, this is what it is. Because of my fear. I let my fear dictate how I would let that respond. Now I feel like I could go to my mother like, Mom, something going on down there. I need you to tell me what this is going on. But I think those taboo topics related to sex, sexual health, sexual dynamics, because the same way we teach boys about having sex, girls need to know. Girls need to know about their body.
It needs to be a safe space.
It needs to be a safe space with your mom, your aunties, whoever. Sex needs to be an open topic that you're having, not just with boys, but with girls too, about what to do when they're experiencing these changes.
I wish mom and daughter talked about the lack of picture perfect. I think we talked about this. I am a perfectionist at heart. Like, I'm gonna go the 100%, but recognizing the mess that comes. I'll never forget, and I still blame my mom for this. I was in high school and I was telling everybody I had this vacation coming up, like can't wait. Well, I failed algebra by 1 point. They actually called my mom and said, hey, I know Brianna is talking about vacation, so we don't
tell
want her,
the truth. You
we don't
told
want
them
her
you were
to go
going
to
on
summer
vacation.
school. My mom, well, no, my child doesn't, you're not going to give her the 1 point. She's going to earn it, so she's going to be there for summer school. Okay, still bitter about that today, but
She didn't get to go on vacation.
I didn't get to go on
But
vacation.
you did fail.
It was 1 point, and I have I have some justification.
But if we're teaching our daughters that
Yes.
perfection is not the goal,
Exactly.
you should have been able to say to myself, like, okay, it was 1 point. I technically did fail. I do have to do the work behind it.
Correct, and I think that requires introspection, but I think that also requires you not to know things are not going to go as according to plan sometimes, and that's okay. I think it's how you pivot, how you pick up, how you move on.
Brianna, you've been on so many vacations since then.
But wait a minute, no.
That one was instrumental because I spent my summer in summer school. Like,
But we made the decision, and let's tell the whole truth, because you had those teachers scared of you. Because me and John made the decision that you were going to stay behind because you told the teachers that it was absolutely impossible
Yes, I
for
did.
you to have to stay because
Absolutely.
your family has a paid vacation.
that is
So
correct.
we decided to implement the insurance that we had put on the vacation to make you go to summer school.
But I think in that though, my own perfection is like I couldn't fail, and I think that led to me just constantly dream chasing. What can I do next? But like I never stopped, and I'm still learning that now, very much seeded into it. Like, can you stop and clap and celebrate? Like, yes, you didn't meet the target, but what did you do to get there? What did you learn on the process?
Celebrate
So
those wins.
being able to celebrate, and I think my mom just kind of reinforces like me, I'm gonna keep going, I'm a go, but I'm not really looking back and taking the pause to be able to say like, dang, like I really did that. So yeah.
That's huge. One thing I can add about that I think moms need to teach their daughters, financial management.
Yes.
Right? How to save, how to invest, how to be the head and not the tail financially, how to avoid predatory lending, how to walk in banks and know. I think that your friend is still angry with us. Brianna and I spent what were we at the dealer, about 4 or 5 hours over a 1 point interest rate. We argued over $5 literally per month. But I think mothers should really invest in teaching their daughters what a good interest rate is, what a good credit score is, what types of credit cards to get, because every credit card is not a good credit card.
Yeah.
So I think those conversations need to be had if we're talking about generational wealth, right? In order to see and accumulate wealth, we have to be good stewards over finances.
What I wish that mothers and daughters talked about more openly is just your trauma. A lot of times, we as daughters don't know why we are experiencing what we are experiencing, why we are getting this version of our mom. If only she would have taken the time to peel those layers back for me, the grace would have came sooner. The perspective switch or the perspective change would have came a little bit sooner, to just go in depth and not be afraid to kind of bare your soul to your offspring.
Do you think she was ready?
My mom?
Yeah. Because sometimes...
My mom is very transparent.
But talk about your trauma can be a trigger. So sometimes moms may not be ready. I know, like, when my mom had her own experiences, she didn't tell me about them until I was an adult because she hadn't healed from them.
And I also, even in the healing journey, and I don't know if this is good or bad, but I don't believe in giving my daughters too much too soon.
Right. That's what I
Right? It's almost like, I'm thinking about them as babies. I couldn't feed them cereal too soon because they would have been sick. Right? If moms start giving our daughters all of our trauma, versus, I think there are lessons in stories, be careful with relationships, make sure that you understand what love is before but to actually dump, there are things because their central nervous system just aren't ready, they can't take it. There were things that I did not give them out of a protective mode while I was doing my work. What I gave them was transformed versions of me, right? They knew something was different without knowing something was different, if that makes sense. Right? Almost like the proof is in the pudding.
Right.
So I caution to some degree about moms giving their daughters too much, because in the emotional immaturity, if I'm not healed from something, you can shame me. So if I've told my daughter something that's too heavy for her to hold, and then she comes up in the house and say, you wasn't saying that when Mister was going upside your head, now I'm ready to go upside her head. if I'm just being honest.
No, I think I was speaking more so from a place
giving you understanding of why she's the way she is.
And when things come up and you're having those hard conversations, I think it just goes back to radical vulnerability.
Absolutely.
This is why this is happening, you know, and I can actually give you not just the dumping, the emotional dumping. I would not recommend that.
But I think we do that because we want so desperately. Am I telling a lie? We want to be, you guys, superheroes. We want to be like when they lay that baby on our chest, and I have a daughter. I still remember each of my children. I have 3. I have a favorite son, but I remember them throwing this hot thing on my chest, and I remember looking at them, and I still hold that look. So every time my baby is going through something, I'm still reminded of that day that hot thing was laying on my chest.
But to counter that, there has to be a healthy balance. When you think about your superhero complex, how do you feel when we are not there for you because we think you're strong?
I just bust out crying and I think y'all don't love me.
How do you feel when we think she can handle it because she's our superhero, right? We automatically assume you don't need our support because you've never shown us that there are moments for you to be weak, or there are moments where you need us to give you strength. So there has to be a healthy balance. Like, yes, you can be my superhero, but my superhero has a kryptonite.
It's the opposite side of that. So you wanted the superhero, but I think once again, my mom being young and us growing up together, I was my mom's confidant way too early. And we've had conversations about this. I struggle with being the person who always has to rescue, who always has to be the listening ear, show up when I see a shift in your behavior. I need to know what's going on. I need to give you the words or give you, something so that way you feel better. I became a fixer, not just with my mom, but in my relationships. And so I got in toxic situations because I became the fixer. I was the fixer.
At some point, you got to take responsibility for it.
Oh no, I know. I'm just saying where it stems from, and that's why I'm no longer. But I wouldn't be able to if I didn't take responsibility for it. I wouldn't be able to call it.
That's what you wouldn't even see it. So, you would just fall right into it.
Exactly.
Right, and that's what we call a parentified child. Right, a parentified child becomes my confidant. They know too much.
But do you over boundary when you think about a person who has been that person for everybody? Do you feel like now you over boundary?
Friends were here, they would all in unison be like, I am.
They're gonna shut it down. Like, shut it down.
Yeah, I shut it all the way down.
But we struggle to find, and I can relate, to find that healthy balance because I'm so used to taking care of everybody that when I get overwhelmed, I get exhausted, now I'm shutting you all out. Y'all not getting nothing from me.
Yeah.
But then that's the extreme, right?
Yeah.
So we struggle with having that healthy balance of, I'm going to be here for you, but I'm not going to allow you to overtake me.
Yes. When I see shifts in her, I was always the person who wanted, Mom, are you okay? You crying on my shoulder. I needed to make a choice that if I see a shift, I see it. But if you're not saying anything to me, like, I'm not going out of my way to try to fix it. I am not. My mood is now shifted because of your mood. I had to learn to it's okay for me to be in peace even when you're feeling chaos.
And I hear that, but I will say this, and if you're quiet, if you're going through something, you want me to be the one to say, hey, Shanae, what's wrong? Are you okay? To check up on you.
I want you to be the mom.
No, right.
Not vice versa.
Listen, let me finish. And for me to be, the one to check and say, hey, Shanae, are you okay? But what I find, and because at this point, of adulthood, because we're not children anymore. Now we're dealing with adulthood. I think that it's not saying that you're acting like the mother just because if I'm quiet and it seems like I'm going through something, for you to say, Mom, are you okay? I don't see. I think that you want to see it as a role reversal moment, which is not. To me, it's a caring moment. If I'm going through something and I'm quiet, it's not like I'm voicing my opinion. I'm normally very boisterous, but if I am quiet, my behavior is different. I can go through it for 2 or 3 days and there is no Mom, are you okay? But you get upset if you are going through that same 2 or 3 days and I don't check up on you or I don't say. To me, the
difference is in what the dynamic has always been.
Mm-hmm.
I have always been that person for you, always, even from a distance with a phone call. So now it's like, I don't want to play that role anymore. I think it's different if that hasn't been the case and then something comes and I'm like, and I'm not asking you what's wrong and I'm actively ignoring you, versus I've always played that role and I don't want to play that role anymore. I don't want to be that person. Let your husband, I want your husband to carry that, or your friends to carry that. And it's not to say that I don't care. I mean, there are moments all the time where I can notice something, or I know what season it is, and all I got to do is hug you. You cry. We might not go into deep detail, but I know, and I rub your back. But I don't want to have to be that person with every shift. And it's not to. And when I am going through something, because I spent so much of my adolescence going through, and you not asking me what's wrong or us having those deep conversations. So it's not something that you have done for me, where I am going through something and you actively ask me what's going on, am I okay, or check-ins or things like that. Yeah, I do want that from you, but I think because it's always been opposite, vice versa, I don't even feel like I have the language to, I don't know. That's
compassion. It's like compassion burnout. It's like, right? Is that what you're hearing? It's kind of like it triggers something that I'm working to heal.
Right. It sounds like she set the boundary for how I'm going to show up and when I'm going to show up. And I do think, friend side, I want that friend too. And I think that is the changing dynamic of mom-daughter when you adult, right? I am my mom. You grew up. Oh, I'm not your little homegirl. I'm not your friend.
I'm not your little friend. I'm the little friend now.
So you do want that kind of compassion to say, like, hey, I also need that too. And I think that makes us human.
My question is, with that, does it have to be all or nothing?
No, it's not. Okay. And I think that's what, to sum this up, I think back to the question, what do I think moms and daughters to talk about?
What should we talk about and often avoid?
Often avoid is the idea that this relationship, I am your primary caregiver, and that sets the tone for the rest of your life. What you entertain, what you do, how you show up for yourself, because essentially I'm mirroring and modeling that. And I think a lot of mom-daughter parent relationships don't address that. Yeah.
That was good.
That was really good.
That was good. That was good.
I love it. I love because we miss stuff, right? As mothers, I know, and I'm quick to say to my kids, y'all, I dropped the ball on that. I never realized I made you feel that way. My daughter told me the other day, what was the word you said? She said, and can I tell it?
Absolutely.
She told me I was her first bully.
Very much so.
And I'm like, who, me? What the hell are you talking about? I was going to play around fighting for you. I was, but.
From her lens.
From her, exactly. Right? And I totally had a complete different perspective of it. Right? I just felt like, do this. Like I didn't recognize, bully sounds so ugly.
I have a question for you. This is how did you get so good? And I don't know, because I know you guys, everybody goes, there's lots of things I don't know about you guys.
We fight all the time,
right? But okay, so I guess I'll ask you. Do you feel like your mom is open to feedback?
At times, yes.
Okay, and then how did you get to a place where you could hear feedback and receive it and respond in a way where you don't feel defensive?
That is one thing, though. I will say she's open to feedback. It's about the delivery, and I had to learn that.
How they deliver. Right.
I'm going to jump in before you answer.
Oh my God.
Because there are still moments where she's defensive.
For sure.
Do
It's
not-
human. I think it's human. Yeah.
It's human, and it 100% has to be the delivery. Love y'all. Okay, don't take what I'm saying offensive. We sometimes have to deal with our mothers with hot mittens on.
Hot mittens.
Hot mittens, because you don't want to burn yourself when you get that out the oven. And I say hot mittens because sometimes we have to be delicate, like you would treat a cup of tea. You want to walk slowly. You want to be like, because if you spill the tea, you're going to burn yourself. We have to do that with our mothers. Love them down. But sometimes they are not ready to look in the mirror. Love y'all.
I agree. I will not fight it, because I think when you ask that question, how did I get to a place? The same thing I said earlier. The R's. Do I want to be right in this, or do I want relationship? Right? I cried for days. This girl was pregnant and blocked me. For what you blocked me? A week? I cried when I tell you. You remember, friend? Because I was on your couch crying.
Yep.
I was on my therapist's phone crying. My baby was pregnant. She was scared. She was going through things that she had never gone through, and I know why she blocked me. It was not that she blocked me because she was just malicious.
You violated a boundary.
I violated a boundary, and it destroyed me.
But I think both of y'all had to learn to be different. Like you just said with your delivery, you had to learn how to meet mommy where she was and responding with her to her so that she wouldn't get defensive. And mommy had to learn, okay, I can't do that with Brianna because I am going to get this result, and that's not what I want.
And that's not the result I want. That result, the family that's disrupted, it violates everything I live for. Everything I live for professionally and personally is about reunification, especially in urban spaces, right? I think that we always talk about homicide, suicide. We talk about trauma. I think it has become a buzzword. I think the thing that is destroying Black families is an inability to sit down and have real conversations. It is not drugs. It is not suicide. It is take me as I am. Right? I know who this one is, I know who this one is, and I know who my son is. They all need something different from me. But what they know I need is the three of them together. They know, they have conversations. I know they have a private text because I saw your phone. They have a private text thread without me. But what they know about mom is she would roll over and die if we were not speaking.
So what advice would you give to families where brokenness and dysfunction and separation is what it is? It's normalized.
Get it right, because there are too many legacies, right? If these two, remember when you guys call yourself not speaking?
Which week?
Whatever week it was. But the thing that broke me was Darian. That's my grandson, right? She's the rich auntie. Right, to Darian, like, and you know it. Whatever he wants, she does. He's the first of everything. Darian said, Mimi, and he was crying. He said, what's wrong with my mommy and my auntie? Why are they not talking? And I said, it's gonna be okay. And I said, it's gonna be okay. He was like, that's not what we do. I got on the phone, I called my son. I said, all hands on deck. What that mean? If a phone call comes out, all hands on deck.
It means we gotta have a group meeting. And we are very serious about coming, and whether we don't care what we gotta do, we're gonna get together, whether it's on Zoom, we're gonna come and have a meeting, we're gonna get some chicken, and we're gonna sit down and talk. You know the chicken gonna be there. And sometimes in family spaces, that may not be feasible, meaning it's too much toxicity. It's too hot. So bringing in a third party, and when I say a third party, whether that is a mediator, a therapist, somebody that is unbiased, outside, not making any assumptions about this family, just really there to give y'all a safe space is important, because you don't want it to create more chaos.
Exactly.
And I think, again, for me, it was those grandchildren not understanding why they didn't see love, why they couldn't all come to the house together, like Thanksgiving, Christmas, like whatever we do. Right, where is my auntie? Where is Mala? Where is Darian? You know, everything that they know is about us.
And one day you'll have to explain it.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
No, it's true. Absolutely.
So for me, everything I stand for professionally and personally is about unity. Anything else, I die. And I'm just being honest. It is not, these kids know, I joke and play about a lot of stuff, but without them, I don't know my why. And my professional life very much resembles my personal life. I couldn't do what I do professionally hypocritically.
That is true.
Woo!
That is true. That is true.
I can't tell women how to forgive. I can't tell wives how to build a husband, or I can't tell young girls how to be mothers if I'm over here with drama. I will shut down if my stuff's not right.
And most oftentimes that's what happens.
And
I
the
don't-
disconnect. Yeah, you should. And
I don't-
It's recognizing there is a disconnect.
I don't.
And
yeah.
once you do that, you have to be committed to the work. And I think that is.
That's the hardest part.
It's the hardest part, but I think a
Acknowledging.
testament to your legacy and what you have created. And I'll never forget, you will take a sabbatical. And I love sabbaticals. I will take them. But it's after watching you say, no, that's not right. And professionally, I can't do what I do with my personal. And you always say, if my home is not right, I can never.
I could not sit in front of a client.
This is true.
I
Yeah.
cannot. My son is a minister. I made him step down. There were some things going on that I did. I not.
You did.
My son wasn't living right. He had
I made a choice.
he had made a choice
Before you spill his tea.
that was outside of the lines of what he would have been teaching according to scripture. Perception means nothing to me.
Yeah.
I don't care what people think if it's not real. I cry inside, and we talked about this. When there's family dysfunction, I can't breathe right. How many times have I called y'all in the middle of the night and said, I'm sorry, I didn't do something right? It's usually
You
this
feel
way.
conviction.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's
I'm
not me.
sorry. With her, it's always you too, because I mess up in your life too sometimes.
But I tell you right away. And
But I
think-
fix it.
Yeah.
I fix it.
And I think that's a healthy dynamic that she and I have, because while yes, we are a trio, if she offends Brianna, my sister does not like if I get into it.
Ashley's always in it.
And I'm always in it. But I
But
always feel like if my mom does something where I'm offended or I'm upset, I have to gather what I'm feeling, because my frustration shows up as anger and I lash out. And I know that about myself. So as I'm continuing to work, I'll take a moment and say, y'all, I'm gonna call y'all back.
You just hang up on
my
us.
goodness.
You storytelling. You won't just hang up.
You did hang up. I called you back for that.
Did y'all piss me off?
Yes.
You just hung up.
About the show.
Oh, y'all did. Okay. But I'm getting to a place where I do just hang up, because I will literally
Speak.
crash out, and I'm trying not to be that person. But I called my mom back a day later and I said, Mom, you've been making me mad.
Yes.
And I just came out and said that. And she was like, what I do? And I said, I have felt you have not checked in on me. I said, I've been taking care of you and I've been listening to you dump. I am not okay. I say, I take care of people every day in my professional life and my personal life. I need you to hear that I'm overwhelmed. And she said, I'm sorry. I didn't even realize that I did that to you. And the first thing she said is, what do you need from me? And I didn't need, I said that. I said, I don't need nothing. I'm got it out now. I'm over it now.
Yeah, but I think that and we got to wrap this up, because I know we all have other obligations
Okay,
today.
you got a 3 o'clock.
So we're going to wrap it up, but I'll just end with this. I think it's something beautiful about being able to express something that is bothering you, and it's like an automatic, like, I didn't know that was happening.
Right.
My apologies. What can I do to fix this? Da, da, da. That's how you repair.
Right.
The repair. Yeah.
That's how you
part.
repair. And when you don't do that, you can't wonder why things are the way that they, or why they continue to be that they are.
Absolutely.
Because you keep
Absolutely.
wounding.
Yeah.
That repair.
And it just keeps building.
Yeah.
Keeps going.
And then ticking time bombs.
Yes.
Yes.
This was great, y'all.
This was
Thank you. We had one more question. I think it was good, but I think this was such a beautiful conversation. It went all over. To our viewers, I hope that you guys got something incredible. There are so many gems, so many gems, so many things, so many takeaways from this incredible conversation. Ladies, beautiful women, thank you so much for being here. I think these are necessary conversations. I would love to hear just feedback from you guys. What did you get from this, and what did you learn from this, and how do you plan to take what it is you've learned through this conversation and apply it to your own life? Once again, this is the Bloom Room. I am your host, Shanae Marie, and until next time.
Bye-bye.